At this moment right here, everything changed for the Golden State Warriors because Jimmy Butler has just torn his right ACL and it's been announced that he's out for the rest of the season. And what a blow this is for the Warriors. This was meant to be a team that should be contending for a title. They were ambitious. They were on a great winning streak on positive momentum. Yet now it's all been taken away. And the Golden State Warriors are at a dead end now. And you just got to feel sorry for Steph Curry because this guy is still in his prime. Even though he's 37 years old, he's still playing elite basketball. He's still a top 10 player in the NBA. He's still an NBA All-Star. Yet the Golden State Warriors, they're never in positions to be contenders for championships. And we can all say Steph Curry, he's already a full-time NBA champion. He's an MVP, a finals MVP. He's done it all. But when a player of the caliber of Steph Curry is still in his prime, playing at this level, he needs to be in championship contentions and he needs to be in championship conversations. Simple as. He's too good of a basketball player not to be in those conversations. And as it currently stands, the Golden State Warriors, they're cooked because their second option's out. He's out for the rest of the season and they don't really have a true second option. They've frozen Kuminga out. The Golden State Warriors are not in a good situation right now. And the least the Golden State Warriors can do for Steph Curry is be as aggressive and proactive as possible in the trade market and make a big move. And I know that looks like an impossible task, especially with Jimmy Butler out. But they need to be aggressive because Steph Curry has done so much for that organization. He's completely carried that organization. He's transformed the organization from one of the worst teams in the NBA to one of the best teams in the NBA. He's single-handedly changed that organization. So the least the front office can do is be aggressive in the trade market and put him in a position to win. And I know that the Golden State Warriors, they're in a very tough situation. It's pretty much a dead end. There's not a lot of things they can do. But one option that's available to them is trading Jimmy Butler. And I know this is a very cold situation and scenario because the guy has just torn his ACL. It would be very harsh and cold for the Golden State Warriors to trade him elsewhere. And I don't agree with it whatsoever. But knowing the Golden State Warriors, the only guy that's safe is Steph Curry. They willingly traded Klay Thompson. They willingly traded guys like Jordan Poole who were major contributors to winning that championship in 2022. So, Golden State Warriors, they're very cold. They don't care about emotions or feelings. And trading Jimmy might be an option. And I'm not just saying give Jimmy away. You have to attach first round picks to that. You probably have to blow up your whole future in order to get an all-star caliber player back. This is a possibility because Jimmy Butler, he's on very good money. He is a negative asset right now because of the age and the injury. But if you attach a lot of first round picks to it, you can definitely get an all-star player back in return. But the question is, are the Warriors willing to do this? The next major question for the Golden State Warriors is whether they should keep or trade Jonathan Kuminga. And this is a very difficult question because Jonathan Kuminga's trade value is at an all-time low. And this is mainly due to Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors. They have completely tanked his value and I never understood the reasoning and logic behind it. If you are going to trade him, at least boost his value before trading him so you can get better assets back. But now, you've completely exiled him from the team, you've not given him game time or experience, and his trade value is at an all-time low. But with that being said, we all do know that Jonathan Kuminga definitely has all-star potential and his ceiling is really high. So, do you ride it out and allow Jonathan Kuminga to finally properly develop and try and nurture him into the star that he can become? Or do you trade him while his value is at its lowest? I'm not too sure, but by the looks of it, they have to trade Jonathan Kuminga because Kuminga's asked for a trade request. Steve Kerr has completely freezed him out. And if I'm Kuminga, I'm not playing for the Golden State Warriors again. Look at the way you've treated me. Why would I play for this organization again? You have completely exiled me from the team. You've treated me so harshly. You haven't even treated me as a person. It's been horrible to see in real time from a fan's perspective. Imagine how Jonathan Kuminga is feeling. He should never put on that jersey again. But what can you get in return for Jonathan Kuminga? That is the biggest question that everybody is asking. And as it stands in the trade market, there are a lot of superstars and stars available for trade, and they're all in trade discussions slash trade rumours. There's not a shortage of stars. I look at John Morant, Larry Markkinen, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Michael Porter Jr., Zion Williamson, Jaren Jackson Jr. All these guys are in trade discussions, and some of these guys, the Golden State Warriors have been heavily linked towards at some point of time. I look at Larry Markkinen, Giannis, Michael Porter Jr. So the Golden State Warriors have actively tried to get some of these stars. But the problem with the Golden State Warriors is that there's not a shortage of stars available. There's so many stars available to get. But the problem is, do the Golden State Warriors have the assets to get these guys? Look, they do have very young, promising players. I look at Moses Moody, Brandon Podimski, Jonathan Kuminga. These guys are very good young players who've got so much potential and are valuable trade assets. For sure. But do you have high salary stars that are valuable apart from Steph Curry, apart from Draymond Green, apart from Jimmy Butler? No. You do have draft picks that can be extremely valuable, but that means you have to blow up your whole future to get these stars. But it's a risk you have to take because you have Steph Curry in his prime, the greatest player in your organization's history. You have to maximize his time here. But it's going to be very interesting to see what the Golden State Warriors are going to do. And I feel like they're going to be extremely aggressive and a big move is coming for sure. And look at the stars on the screen right now. There's so much talent available in the trade market. Personally, for me, I would love Giannis to move to the Golden State Warriors and see Steph Curry and Giannis play, because the Milwaukee Bucks, they're in a horrible situation. They're not winning a championship anytime soon. And the Golden State Warriors, they're in a dark place as well. If you bring Giannis Antetokounmpo to the Golden State Warriors, that makes them a contender for sure. It makes a lot of sense to me, but it's a matter of if the Milwaukee Bucks are even willing to engage. Or Giannis has to actively ask to be traded to the Golden State Warriors, and I feel like the Milwaukee Bucks will comply because Giannis has done so much for that organization. Whatever he says goes. So if Giannis actively says, I want to go to the Golden State Warriors to play with Steph Curry, in my opinion, that will happen. But with all this being said, the Golden State Warriors, they have their backs on the wall. I'm not even sure if that's a phrase, but they're in a very desperate situation right now, because if you really look at the situation here, they really don't have much to play off of. Jimmy Butler, he does have a big contract, but it's not really a great tradable asset. If you really want to make a big swing, you need to sacrifice your whole future. And the Golden State Warriors, it's going to be extremely interesting to see what they're going to do for the rest of the time before the trade deadline, because they have to be aggressive. There's no other way they can go about it. It's a do or die trade deadline, or else it's the death of a dynasty. And talking about the dynasty, what a dynasty it's been. I mean, the Golden State Warriors, one of the greatest teams of all time, led by one of the greatest players of all time, arguably the best point guard of all time in Steph Curry, a top 10 basketball player of all time in Steph Curry, and they completely revolutionized the game of basketball whilst dominating basketball. That's what made this team so special, right? The introduction of the three-point shot at high volume, the offense they ran, it was revolutionary. We never saw anything like it, and they won championships again and again and again and again. That's what made them so special. And obviously they won the first championship in 2015. Then they got KD and won 2 in a row. And then the magical run in 2022 where Steph carried the team and won his finals MVP finally. I mean, it's been a fairy tale story for the Golden State Warriors. And if this is an ending of a dynasty, what a dynasty it's been and what a ride it's been. But it's all good reminiscing about all the good times. But I know one thing for sure. Steph Curry wants to win a championship this season. Everybody knows that. That's his target every single season. And with Steph Curry playing at the level he is at 37 years old still, Steph Curry still wants to win a championship, and the Golden State Warriors are going to put him in a situation to try and win that championship. Is it going to be difficult to put the Golden State Warriors in that position? Yes. But the Golden State Warriors are going to be aggressive and proactive in the trade market to get to that situation for sure. So guys, get your popcorn out, get ready, because a big move is going to come from Golden State's side. I don't know what it's going to be, but something major is going to happen, because ain't no way the Golden State Warriors are going to do nothing and let this dynasty die without doing something about it. So I feel like a major move is going to happen for the Golden State Warriors. It's going to be interesting who they bring in because it's going to be difficult. They're not in a great position. They're not in a position of great leverage. They don't have a lot of assets, but something big is going to happen. I can just feel it, and only time will tell who Golden State are going to get. So, yeah, that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and peace.